There's a guy at the door of the grocery store asking you for $65. You haven't bought anything yet, you're just trying to get inside. In any other context, that's a shakedown. But for over 80 million paid memberships, that's just a standard Tuesday afternoon at Costco. Ah, yes, everyone's favorite warehouse store. Stepping inside, we fall into what I call the Costco trance. You walk in for one rotisserie chicken, you walk out $400 later with a kayak, a gallon of maple syrup, and a big sense of confusion about where your life went. Here's the truth. In general, Costco's pricing is good, but it was designed by people who understand behavioral psychology better than we understand ourselves. And if you don't know which traps they've set, that $65 isn't an investment, it's a charitable donation. So today I'm running the actual math, product by product, to find your payback score. That's the exact moment Costco stops costing you money and starts making you money. By the end of this episode, you'll know whether your lifestyle earns that membership back or whether your 65 bucks belongs somewhere else.
Welcome to your Money on Easy mode with Damien.
Now, standard reminder before we get into the numbers, I'm a researcher and a talking head, not your certified financial planner. Every household budget is different, so do your own math before reorganizing your life around a warehouse store. Here's the frame for the whole episode. The $65 membership fee is not a cost, it's an investment. And like any investment, the only question that matters is, what's the return? Is the investment worth it? That's what the payback score measures. A score of 100 means a single product's annual savings exactly covers your $65 entrance fee. You've broken even. 200, you've doubled your money. 50, that item gets you halfway there. Every time I drop a payback score in this episode, I'll translate it so you don't just hear a number, you understand what it means. Before we get into it, I want to name some things Costco designers built into the experience on purpose, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you can't unsee it, you can start using it to your advantage instead of theirs. So let's start with the carts. The carts at Costco are enormous. And by enormous, we're talking the approximate footprint of my Toyota Prius. And that's not an accident. It's not because Costco sells large items and the cart needs to accommodate them. It's because of a phenomenon that researchers call the Delboeuf illusion, the same principle that makes a small portion of food look sad on a large plate and generous on a small one. When your cart is the size of a small boat, a $40 purchase looks like a rounding error. A $100 haul looks like you barely got started. Your brain evaluates how much am I spending, not in dollar terms, but in cartfulness terms. And Costco built the cart to make you feel like you're always behind. Next trap is the layout. Every few weeks, Costco rearranges things. Items move, sections shift. The path you memorized last month no longer works. This is deliberate. Retail psychology research has shown for decades that familiarity breeds efficiency, and efficiency is the enemy of impulse spending. When you know exactly where your three items are, you walk in, get them, and leave. When you don't, you wander, and wandering is expensive. Every extra aisle you walk down is another opportunity for something to catch your eye. Costco engineers that wandering on purpose every single time you visit by making sure the store you think you know is slightly different from the store you're actually stepping into. But the most sophisticated trick, the one that works before you've even picked up a single item, is the membership fee itself. The moment you hand over $65 at the door, something shifts in your brain. Psychologists call it the sunk cost effect. The $65 is spent. It's gone. It's not coming back. And your brain, which hates waste and is wired to seek justification for your past decisions, immediately starts looking for ways to make the fee feel worth it. So you buy a little more than you planned. You pick up the thing you weren't sure about. You add the cheese. You tell yourself it's fine because you're saving money by being here anyway. You're not making rational purchase decisions. You're unconsciously auditing your membership in real time one item at a time, trying to get your money's worth from a fee that you've already paid. This is loss aversion in reverse. You're not trying to avoid a loss, you're trying to retroactively justify one. And here's the part that makes all three of these tactics genuinely clever. None of them really feel like manipulation. The cart just feels like a cart. The layout just feels like it changed. Membership just feels like a reasonable annual fee. And that's what makes behavioral engineering different from a hard sell. It doesn't pressure you, it just quietly rearranges the environment until your free choices start going in a very specific direction. So the question isn't just whether Costco has good prices, it does. The question is whether you have the self awareness to extract the value without becoming the product. So, to help you out, I've grouped the math into 5 lifestyle personas. Find yours. If you don't see yourself in at least one of them, your $65 belongs somewhere else, like a high yield savings account. To make this a bit more real, I want to introduce you to Maya. She's 34, lives in the suburbs, has a golden retriever named Biscuit, who is 65 pounds and perpetually muddy, and she has a toddler named Liam, a partner who drinks an alarming amount of coffee, and a dishwasher that runs every single night. So Maya is our composite Costco customer. She's not a hoarder. She's not an extreme couponer. She's just a busy person trying to make her money work harder without thinking about it too much. So here's the thing about Maya. She's been buying blue buffalo dog food at the pet store on her way home from work for 2 years. She picked it because the vet mentioned it, and she never questioned the price because it just felt normal. It's not a character flaw of hers. That's just how price anchoring works. The price she paid before becomes the price that feels right, even when it's $40 too high. So, in the rest of this episode, we're going to follow Maya through each persona. The goal is to find out whether someone like her or someone like you actually comes out ahead. Spoiler alert, Maya does, but only because she knows which traps to avoid. Quick question. If someone handed you $10,000 right now, would you know exactly what to do with it? Honestly, most people don't. And that uncertainty, well, that can cost you big time. So that's why I created something free just for you. Yes, Free. And that is my Easy Mode Money Ladder. The Easy Mode Money Ladder is a simple step-by-step guide to help you figure out exactly what to do with your money and when. This is not a boring budget worksheet. This is a no fluff guide that tells you exactly when to build your emergency fund, how much to put in it, the best way to crush your debt, and the steps you need to take, which aren't that complicated, to start growing real long-term wealth. All of this one simple step at a time. No matter where you are in your money journey, this guide is for you. It will help you plan your next money move with confidence. And did I mention that it's free? Yep, totally free and will always be free. If you want this guide, and I think you should, then go to my show notes and click on the link to my Stan store. That's simply my internet storefront where I give away this guide for free. Download it, follow it, and let's put your money on easy mode. Now, back to the show. All right, persona number 1, pet parent. We're starting off with a bang. If you have a large dog, you can honestly stop listening after this section. I'm serious. You've already won. You just don't know it yet. Let me paint the picture. Maya has Biscuit, a 65-pound golden retriever, perpetually muddy, loves everyone unconditionally, and has zero awareness of what things cost. Maya has been buying Blue Buffalo Life Protection Formula at the pet store on her way home from work for 2 years. She picks it up, winces slightly at the price, tells herself it's worth it because the vet mentioned it once, and moves on. She has done this approximately 24 times without ever questioning whether that wince was trying to tell her something. It was. Here are the actual numbers. A 30-pound bag of Blue Buffalo at a pet specialty retailer runs about $65. That's $2.17 per pound. Kirkland Signature's chicken, rice, and vegetable formula, which has a comparable protein profile and ingredients, comes in at roughly 87 cents a pound in a 40-pound bag. That is a difference of $1.30 per pound, 150% more expensive pound for pound just for the name brand. Not for better nutrition, not for a superior formula. It's for the logo, for the bag design, for the fact that it's sitting on a shelf between two other premium brands in a store that specializes in making pet owners feel like their purchasing decisions are an act of love. That's just marketing. Now let's run the payback score. Maya's large dog burns through roughly a bag a month, sometimes more. At pet store prices, she's spending around $65 a month on food. At Costco prices, a 40-pound Kirtland bag at 87 cents a pound comes to about $35. That's a $30 swing per month. $30 a month, 12 months a year. That's $360 in annual savings from one product. Some households with larger dogs or heavier feeding schedules will push that closer to $480 a year. So the payback score is over 700. Let me translate that. 700 means dog food alone covers the $65 membership fee more than 7 times over in a single year. Maya could walk into Costco, buy nothing but dog food for 12 months, never set foot in the cheese aisle or look at a kayak, and she would still be one of the most financially efficient people in her zip code. One product, 7 times the membership fee recovered. So here's a practical test for you. Flip your current bag of dog food over and find the weight. Divide the price you paid by the number of pounds. If you're paying more than $2 a pound for a grain-inclusive formula and there's a Costco within reasonable distance, you have your answer. Your dog will eat the Kirkland formula with exactly the same enthusiasm they bring to everything because they are a dog, and dogs do not read ingredient labels or respond to packaging. Now, your bank account, on the other hand, will notice. One more thing before we move on. This same principle applies to cat food, cat litter, flea and tick medication, and prescription pet medications, many of which Costco pharmacies will fill at warehouse pricing. So if you have pets, the pet parent persona alone may be the single strongest argument for membership in this entire episode. The math is just that good. So check your price per pound today, write it down, then pull up the Costco app and compare. If the gap is what I think it is, you'll feel a very specific kind of frustration. Not at Costco, but at yourself for not doing this 2 years ago. That frustration is useful. Let it motivate you to switch. Persona 2 is the new parent. If you have a baby and you're buying diapers at a grocery store or a pharmacy, you're probably overpaying by $100 or more every single year. Here's the math that nobody gives you at the hospital. Maya's toddler is 18 months old, which means diapers, a lot of diapers. And I want to be clear about something before we get into the numbers. This section is not about being a cheap parent. It's about being a smart one, because nothing about your child's well-being changes when you buy the warehouse brand. What changes is how much money you have left at the end of the month. So let's talk diapers first, because this is where the savings are the most immediate and the most obvious. A 192 count box of Kirkland Signature Size 1 diapers runs about $30. That's roughly 16 cents per diaper. Now, Huggies Little Snugglers, which have the same size and the same function, $40 for a 168 count box, which is 24 cents per diaper. That adds up to a $10 gap per box. I know it doesn't sound like much until you do the math. One box a month at that difference is $120 per year. But most households with a young baby aren't buying one box a month. They're burning through more than that. So the payback score on diapers alone lands at over 180. The membership fee is paid off before the summer from one product. And wipes are the same story. 900 Kirkland wipes for $22, which is 2 cents per wipe. Huggies 448 count costs about $28, which is 6 cents per wipe for less than half of the quantity. If your household goes through the average of 4 to 5 packs per month, that's $40 to $50 a year saved on wipes alone. Now, that's not life-changing in isolation, but stacked on top of diapers, you're already well past the membership break even, and we haven't even touched formula yet. Formula. This one matters a lot, and I want to be careful with how I frame it because I know this is a loaded topic. Kirkland's Pro Care is $29.99 for a 42-ounce container, which is 71 cents per ounce. Similac's Pro Advance runs $35 to $40 for a 36-ounce container, $1 to $1.11 per ounce. That's a gap of 30 to 40 cents per ounce. Now, over a year of formula feeding, that difference adds up to several $100s. And the framing that actually matters, Kirkland formula meets the same FDA nutritional standards as the name brands: DHA, HMOs for immune support, the full checklist. It's manufactured in Vermont by a company that has been making infant formula for over 30 years. You are not feeding your baby an inferior product. You're paying for the Similac label, not better nutrition. And that distinction is worth knowing. Now, I want to pause and name a trap because this is where new parents, well intentioned, sleep deprived, desperately wanting to do right by their kid, get absolutely taken by the warehouse format. I call it bulk brain. That's when the warehouse environment triggers an irrational confidence in your own ability to consume things at a large scale. Everything looks like a deal. Everything looks like savings. Your brain starts doing math that feels reasonable in the moment and falls apart once you get home. In fact, Maya does this with applesauce. She's walking the baby food aisle. She sees a 4-gallon tub of organic apple puree on a pallet and she thinks, my baby Liam will love this. We go through so much apple puree. This is basically free money. So she buys it. She gets home. And 3 days later, Liam has decided, with the iron conviction that only an 18-month-old can muster, that now he hates apples. He has never hated apples before in his life, but he hates apples now. So that 4-gallon tub is going to sit on the shelf for 6 months, taking up space and silently judging her every time she opens the pantry door. That is bulk brain. It's not savings. And it happens constantly with snacks, with produce, with any food that requires your toddler to cooperate with your purchasing decisions. Toddlers do not like to cooperate with purchasing decisions. So the antidote is to focus on what I call the unchangeables. These are products your household consumes at a predictable, non-negotiable rate, regardless of mood, phase, preference, or toddler opinion. Diapers are an unchangeable. Wipes are an unchangeable. Formula, if you're using it, is an unchangeable. These are the products where the bulk format works perfectly because the consumption rate is essentially guaranteed. Now, everything else, like food products, snacks, anything with a flavor that a small human might suddenly reject, those require a reality check before putting it into the cart. So stick to the unchangeables, and the new parent persona is one of the cleanest math wins in this entire episode. If you're currently spending over $80 a month on diapers and wipes at a grocery store or a pharmacy, which is not difficult to do, especially in the newborn stage, then switching to Costco could save you close to $200 a year on those two products alone. Add formula savings on top of that, and you're looking at a payback score that makes the $65 membership fee look embarrassingly small. That's $200 a year that could go into a $529 or the espresso machine you need because you're not sleeping. Either way, you're welcome. Persona 3 is the caffeine addict and the pantry stalker. Maya's partner drinks 2 pots of coffee a day. This section is for him. If you're buying 12-ounce bags of Starbucks beans at the grocery store for $12, you are paying for the packaging and the shelf placement. The coffee inside is not $12 coffee. Kirkland beans at Costco run about $8 to $9 per pound in a large bag. If this household burns through 60 pounds of coffee a year, 2 pots a day is about right, the annual savings cover a real slice of that membership fee on their own. Then there are the hidden heroes. Chicken stock. A 6-pack at Costco is $9. Individually at a regular store, $24 to $27, 1/3 of the price. Think of your pantry like a dividend portfolio. Every time you buy a non-perishable at the warehouse, you're locking in a 30 to 60% return on future grocery spending. So you're not spending $9, you're saving $18 of future money. But here's the trap I need to name again, which is bulk brain. An example, Costco sells Tillamook Sharp Cheddar in a 2.5 pound block for about $11.23, 28 cents per ounce. Now, Target sells the same Tillamook for 55 cents an ounce. Kroger charges 62 cents. So the payback score on cheese is real, but it only works if you actually eat it before it develops its own ecosystem in the back of your fridge. Bulk savings are theoretical until you consume the product. Every time you throw away a half-eaten warehouse block of cheese, you're just a person who paid too much for cheese. The rule for this persona is buy bulk the things you consume on autopilot. Coffee, olive oil, chicken stock, pasta. These are Costco's clear wins. Anything that requires your household to change its behavior to consume, that's where bulk brain takes over and the math falls apart. If this household goes through 30 pounds of coffee a year, the annual savings on coffee alone put the payback score for this persona somewhere around 60 to 70. So it's not a knockout on its own, but if you stack it with chicken stock, olive oil, and pantry staples, you're well past 100 before you even get to that cheese aisle. So the caffeine addict and pantry stalker persona doesn't win on one hero product, it wins on accumulation. So next grocery store trip, snap a photo of your chicken stock and coffee prices. That's your benchmark. If you aren't saving at least 30% at the warehouse on those two items, then you're doing it wrong.
Are you still making minimum payments and getting nowhere on your pile of debt? Let's change that. If your credit card balance feels like a boss fight that you just can't win, well, I made something for you. It's called the Easy Mode Guide to Destroy Your Debt, and it gives you the exact plan to break free. In this 23-page guide, we'll bust through common myths, learn step-by-step strategies, and you'll discover how to pay off your debt faster, without shame, overwhelm, or giving up everything that you enjoy. Whether you're into the snowball method, the avalanche method, or have no idea what either of those mean, this guide is for you. If you're ready to finally start paying down your debt, then this guide speaks plain English and delivers results. It's just $19.99 and it's available in my storefront. If you click the link down below to enter my stand store, you'll see a big green button to purchase the guide. Please don't let another month slip by with no progress. Hit pause on this video, scroll down to the show notes, and click the link to download this guide. Now back to the show.
Persona 4 is the home maintainer. Let's start with something that will make you irrationally angry, but it's a productive anger that will save you money this week. A 1-year supply of generic Zyrtec, 365 tablets, is about $13 to $14 at Costco under the Kirkland Allertech label. CVS sells brand name Zyrtec at $1.18 per tablet. That's over $100 for the same year's worth of the identical molecule. The same active ingredient, cetirizine hydrochloride at 10 milligrams. Different label, 9 times the price. If you or anyone in your household takes allergy medication daily, then switching to the Costco generic is the easiest $80 to $90 win in all of personal finance. Don't just consider it, do it this week. Run the numbers. $14 versus $106. That's a $90 swing on one product. So the payback score on allergy meds alone is 138. The Costco membership fee is covered with room to spare before you've touched a single air filter or a dishwasher pod. Now let's talk air filters. Maya changes hers twice a year instead of 4 times because she always forgets, and because the hardware store price makes her wince a little every single time. Both of those facts are costing her money that she can't see. Higher energy bills from clogged filter and a higher per unit cost because she's buying retail. Warehouse pricing on a standard multi-pack of 3M filters runs meaningfully cheaper per filter. More importantly, when the filters are already in the closet, the maintenance actually gets done. That compliance factor is worth more than the price gap itself. Next, dishwasher pods. Cascade Platinum Plus, 81 count, runs $25.99 at Costco. A comparable 52 pack at Walmart runs $20.94. So on a per pod basis, that's a meaningful gap. And if your dishwasher runs every night the way Maya's does, you'll feel that across a year. The behavioral trap here is the fixed cost fallacy. The feeling that Costco is expensive because the receipt is always $200. The receipt is bigger because you're buying more at once. Your cost per day of living is lower. You're trading a higher upfront number for a lower daily burn rate. So don't let the big receipt scare you away from the math. Check your AC filter size tonight. If it's standard, add it to your Costco must buy list. And if you're paying CVS prices for daily allergy medication, switching that one item almost covers the entire membership fee by itself. Persona 5 is the cheap date or the food court fan. Costco has been selling a hot dog and a soda for $1.50 since 1985. That's not a coincidence, it's a psychological trap. And once I explain how it works, you'll be able to use it against them. Now, finally, we get to the section that Maya's partner actually showed up for. This man has eaten a Costco hot dog no fewer than 20 times this year and considers this a personality trait. The hot dog is $1.50. It has been $1.50 since 1985. Costco has absorbed 40 years of inflation on your behalf deliberately. The CFO has confirmed on the record that the hot dog is priced below cost. They lose money on it because they make it back on everything else in your cart. That's the system. Here's how you use it in reverse. You come for the cheap food, you get what's on your list, and you walk past the kayak display without breaking stride. So the hot dog is cheap, but the real food court MVP is the pizza. An 18-inch pie costs $9.95. A comparable Domino's order runs $15 to $20 before delivery fees. Add a delivery app and you're north of $25. So 6 pizza nights from the warehouse instead of delivery apps, that's $40 to $60 back in your pocket just from pizza alone. The famous Costco rotisserie chicken is largely a wash now because most grocery stores are price matching it. So that one's not too interesting. But if you add up the 6 warehouse pizza nights, that saves $40 to $60. Hot dogs a couple of times a month get you another 15 to 20. So the cheap date food court payback score lands somewhere around 80 to 120, depending on how often you show up. Not really enough to justify the membership on its own, but if you add it as a kicker stacked on top of the other personas, then it's essentially free money. So skip the delivery app next pizza night, drive to the warehouse, save on the pizza and on the service fees. That's real money for just 20 minutes of driving. All right, here's what I want you to hold on to. Costco is not a regular grocery store. It's a math problem disguised in a warehouse and designed by people who understand human psychology better than most of us understand ourselves. The oversized carts, the rotating layout, the sunk cost of the membership fee quietly nudging you towards spending more just to feel like you got your money's worth. None of that is an accident. It's a system, and most people walk right into it. They buy the bulk applesauce for a toddler with opinions. They pick up a 3-pound block of artisan cheese and then forget that it exists. They renew the membership every year because it feels like the irresponsible adult thing to do, without ever running the math to find out if it actually makes sense. Now, our friend Maya, she wins because she knows which traps to avoid. She buys the dog food and the diapers and the coffee. She skips the tub of applesauce. She changes her air filters because the bulk pack was already in the closet. She eats the hot dog and she does not buy the kayak. So picture her on a Saturday, cart loaded with the right things, a receipt that looks big, but it isn't, and a running tally in her head of exactly what she saved. She walked past the frivolous displays. She doesn't even glance at them. That's what running the math does. It turns the Costco trance into a conscious decision. It's the difference between being the product and being the customer. The only wrong move is paying $65 on autopilot and wandering the warehouse on vibes alone. So here's your homework. Do a pantry audit. This week, write down the top 5 non-perishables in your household that you burn through every month. Coffee, diapers, dog food, air filters, allergy meds. Look up the price per unit that you're currently paying. Then check the Costco app. If the annual savings on those 5 items clears $65, then you're leaving money on the table. If it doesn't, then you have your answer and you can stop feeling guilty about not having a Costco membership. Either way, you're making the decision with math instead of vibes, and that's the whole point. If this breakdown helped, hit follow wherever you're watching this. And if you know someone who just renewed their Costco membership because it felt like the responsible adult thing to do, send them this episode. Thanks for watching. See ya.
Thanks for listening to Your Money on Easy Mode. If you enjoyed this episode, then please subscribe and share it with a friend.